Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. It's unacceptable. At 65, Bradley Walsh's shocking update drops just a few minutes ago. Broken our hearts, this news must see. The studio lights blazed down on the glossy floor of ITV's The Chase. The familiar theme music echoed, the applause roared, and Bradley Walsh stepped onto the stage with his usual boyish grin and theatrical energy. "Hello and welcome to The Chase," he beamed. "4 contestants, 1 chaser, and £100,000 on the line, if they can outrun a genius." The camera panned across the team. Linda, 62, a librarian from Devon. Matt, 28, a data analyst from Manchester. Priya, 33, a primary school teacher from Brighton. And finally, Gary. Gary was 41, loud, overconfident, and from Essex. When Bradley got to Gary's introduction, the tone changed instantly. "So Gary, tell me a bit about yourself," Bradley said, clipboard in hand. "I'm a life coach, Brad," Gary announced proudly, adjusting his sunglasses, even though they were indoors. "I teach people how to win, mentally, emotionally, dominate life, you know?" Bradley blinked. "Right, dominate life. Got it." The audience chuckled. Gary gave a wink. "What would you do if you win some cash?" "I don't need the money," Gary said, smirking, "but it'll be a fun cherry on top. Maybe a gold barbecue?" Bradley tilted his head. "A gold barbecue? Pure aesthetic, mate." Priya visibly cringed. When it was Gary's turn to face the cash builder, tension was already simmering. He strutted up to the podium like it was a catwalk, flashing a thumbs up to the audience. "You ready?" "I was born ready." The timer began. "In what country would you find the city of Kyoto?" "Brazil." "Which bird is often associated with delivering babies in folklore?" "Pelican." "How many sides does a heptagon have?" 9. "Who wrote Pride and Prejudice?" Pass. By the end of the 1-minute round, Gary had scored £1,000. Silence fell. Even the usual polite applause was hesitant. Bradley gave him a long look. "Gary, you said Kyoto was in Brazil, and that a pelican delivers babies. Everyone has an off day." Bradley stepped back, crossed his arms, and delivered the line that would echo across the internet within hours. "Gary, go home." The audience gasped. Gary's smirk faltered. "Bit harsh, Brad." Bradley, not missing a beat, said, "Mate, we're trying to win a game here, not host a seminar on delusion." Gary faced Mark Labbit, the beast. Even Mark raised an eyebrow. "You've got some nerve." Gary shot back, "Confidence, my man. Try it sometime." Mark offered the standard middle offer of £1,000, a low offer of £0, and a high offer of £50,000. Gary didn't blink. "High offer, obviously." Bradley's eyebrows nearly hit the ceiling. "You barely made it through the cash builder." "I'm not here to tiptoe," Gary said. "Let's make TV history." "Or a train wreck," Bradley muttered. Gary began the head-to-head round. The questions weren't impossible, but his answers remained puzzling. What is the chemical symbol for potassium? P. Which planet is known as the red planet? Saturn. In chess, what piece can only move diagonally? Horsey. Bradley pinched the bridge of his nose. Mark looked physically pained. By the end, Gary had been caught, in just 4 questions. As the lights dimmed and the round ended, Bradley looked directly into the camera. That, folks, is what happens when overconfidence meets general ignorance. The studio erupted. During the break, backstage was buzzing. Twitter had already exploded with the hashtag. Some viewers were furious. Others couldn't stop laughing. At QuizQueen94. That was actual sabotage. Poor Linda has to carry the team now. At BradleyStan88. Bradley Walsh just said, "Go home," on air. Savage, iconic, legend. Producers debated editing out the remark, but the director shook his head. No way. It's TV gold. Meanwhile, Gary paced the green room, sunglasses now resting on top of his head. "Bit of a harsh crowd," he muttered. The remaining 3 contestants tried their best. Linda brought back 5,000 pounds, Matt added 6,000 pounds, Priya earned 4,000 pounds. A total of 15,000 pounds was on the line in the final chase. Gary, now seated in the audience, watched silently. "Good luck," Bradley said. "Let's hope you've left the Gary effect behind." The team set a respectable 18 steps. Mark returned, poised to destroy them. But something strange happened. He stumbled, repeatedly, missed an easy geography question, got tripped up on pop music, fumbled a Shakespeare reference. By the end, Mark had failed by 2 steps. The team had won. The crowd erupted. Bradley blinked. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming. After the win, the contestants hugged. Gary stood, clapping slowly. "Guess I softened him up," he said, half joking. Bradley approached him with a grin. "Still think you're a life coach?" "Definitely." "Well, you just got coached by life, my friend." Gary laughed. "Fair play." Backstage, the team posed for photos, including one with Bradley holding a sign that read, "Go big or go home." Gary did both. The episode went down in Chase history. It was replayed on YouTube over 3 million times in a week. Gary even got invited to appear on Loose Women for a segment called Overconfidence and Other Life Lessons. Months later, Gary was spotted giving a motivational speech in Chelmsford. On the screen behind him was a still image of Bradley Walsh pointing and saying, "Go home." Gary smiled and said, "Sometimes life knocks you down on national TV. Sometimes a quizmaster tells you to go home. But guess what? You still stand back up and maybe become a meme." The crowd roared with laughter and applause. And somewhere in a dressing room at ITV, Bradley Walsh chuckled and whispered to himself, "Still got it." Chapter 8. The invite no one expected. 3 months had passed since Gary's infamous appearance on The Chase, and since Bradley Walsh's now iconic moment telling him to go home. The phrase had become a viral meme, even printed on t-shirts and mugs sold on Etsy. So when a mysterious envelope arrived at Gary's Essex flat, embossed with ITV's logo, he didn't hesitate to tear it open. "Dear Mr. Gary Dawes, due to overwhelming public response to your episode, we would like to invite you to return for a special event, The Chase's most talked about contestants reunion show. Yes, you made the list. Are you ready to prove the doubters wrong?" Gary stared at it, grinning. "Round 2, he said aloud. "Let's go!" When Gary arrived back at the ITV studios, the energy was different. He walked through the halls like a returning gladiator, hair gelled, sunglasses firmly in place. This time, he was ready. Bradley Walsh, reviewing cue cards with a cup of tea in hand, looked up and groaned playfully. "Oh no, not you again." Gary flashed a peace sign. "You missed me." "I've had more fun in root canal procedures." The two shared a laugh, but Bradley's tone was still half serious. Also in the green room were other infamous contestants. Marjorie, who thought Norway was a kind of cheese. Colin, who froze on every question. And Amanda, who once tried to phone a friend on The Chase out of habit. Gary took his seat and looked around. "This is like the Quiz Hall of Shame." "Or a support group," Amanda added.